Maya, do come in briefly, and then I want to introduce you to a new guest.
Yeah, I'd just also like to point out that what the war on terror has taught us is that conducting these military campaigns in places like Iraq and Afghanistan does not get rid of terrorism. In fact, it actually increases the chances of more people becoming terrorists. So I think the argument that bombing to stop the threat is entirely incorrect, and facts and history will show us that that is not the way to go.
Maya and Kelly, I want to introduce you to Bina Matthews, who joins us now via Skype from the United Arab Emirates. Thank you for joining us, Bina. I'm not sure how much of the conversation you've heard, but I just want your view on the US-led coalition airstrikes in Iraq, and also this conversation and the vote which is going to take place in the British Parliament shortly about whether Britain will join the airstrikes. What's your view?
Well, I believe making comments and strongly opposing terrorism is one thing, but to send your troops out there and to walk the talk is quite another. That's the strongest statement you can make. And that's why I'm particularly proud of the UAE for actually stepping up and sending their people out there.
Why do you think that this is the right strategy? We've heard from Maya and Kelly that they don't think this is right. So speak with them, convince them that this is the right way forward.
Okay, I just got the tail end of the conversation, I have to confess. But what I feel is terrorism is like the Hydra, and it just keeps cropping up in new ways, popping up in different countries under new avatars. And the only way to put an end to it is if the world joins hands. And unfortunately, much opposed as I am to military action in general, in this particular instance, it is required, because the stronger they get as a military force, the less capable the rest of the world is becoming and putting an end to them. So the only way to go is to just go in guns blazing, I'm afraid.
Maya, speak to Bina.
I don't actually think that the world joining hands has to be to conduct a military campaign. I think what we do when we do bomb these groups and bomb civilians, let's not forget all the Iraqi civilians who will be killed by US and UK
Absolutely.
bombs, is yes. that we end up bolstering the ideas behind terrorists in the first place, because let's not forget that this is a response to Western foreign policy, and we can't absolve ourselves of that responsibility to realize that.
That's true. That's true. That is you're talking about the cause here, but unfortunately we're dealing with the result now. So it is a result of Western policy. It is pretty much a repetition of every terrorist group we've dealt with has had its roots in Western policy. The Taliban, Al-Qaeda.
We can't keep repeating the same mistakes. Is my point. Is this? There is no quick fix to this problem. That we're not going to solve this overnight. And our own Defence Secretary Philip Hammond has said that the UK military involvement could be 2 to 3 years. I think that is a moderate estimate at best. It will go on further than that, and we will only create more problems exactly the same as we already have. So if we want long-term solutions, I don't think we can carry on repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
Okay, so what do you propose is the ideal solution then?
I think they should be putting, the UK and the US should be putting regional pressure on regional governments like Iran and Saudi Arabia to encourage cooperation between Iraqis within the country so that they can militarily defeat IS themselves and have some kind of political consensus. So once the threat has passed, they can achieve some kind of viable political coalition for the long term of the stability in the country.
That is definitely, I think it should be a two-pronged approach. One being what you're saying, which is absolutely the right way to go. But you do need the second arm as well, which is immediate response, because while this political coalition and consensus happens, which, let's face reality, it's going to be a long drawn-out process. And in the meantime, there's going to be even more lives lost. And there's going to be even more chaos and killing in the country because of that. So I think this is sort of the Band-Aid or the tourniquet, which will just staunch the stem for the time, and then in the meantime you work on your long-term political you cannot just wait for the political solution.
But the problem with that argument is that what bombing will do it will entrench the sectarian divides within Iraq, thereby making any kind of political consensus in the future almost impossible, and it will also push people into the arms of IS and bolster their power.
On the contrary, I feel that while everyone was trying to talk to them, was trying to convince them that, you know, you guys need to step up, you need to, you know, stand firm against these people. In the meantime, they were building up a support from people around the world. People felt that IS is the wronged party here, that they are the victims, which is why you see people flying in from around the world to support their cause. It's, you know, they have enough time to become heroes. They have enough time to make everyone who takes part in their jihad a martyr. So you need countries to step up and say it's not anything heroic that they're doing. There could be Muslims around the world who are misguided and who think what they're doing is right. Now, the UAE, as an Islamic country, follows, I mean, Sheikh Abdullah in the UN Council recently made a very good speech, and he said, extremism flourishes only where there is sectarianism, where there is, you know, there isn't freedom of faith. So in those places, somebody like IS could become a hero to people. So living here as a Christian expatriate, the UAE has always been a safe place, and they have brutally weeded out any form of terrorism in its most nascent stages. You know, when the whole uprising happened in Egypt, and then they found there were sleeper cells here, it was just immediately eradicated. It will not be tolerated in this country, which is why we all feel safe here.
Bina, let me just interrupt. Do forgive me, because we have to take a break shortly, but I want Maya just to respond finally.
Yeah, I really don't think that addresses what I am. What my concerns are is that the divides between the Sunni and the Shias, which were really inflamed by the US intervention in 2003 and then maintained by Nouri al-Maliki, will continue to be entrenched, but will also be inflamed by Western intervention, because people will see this as more of the same.
Maya in London, Bina in the UAE. Do forgive me. I'm sure, ladies, you will continue talking for a while, and please do feel free to do that off air. But we have to take a break now. Plenty more to come, including lots more on the story of Ebola affecting West Africa so profoundly. Do stay with us.
No, I talking about it. Let me say something. Talking about it. Let me say something.